So we have some news to go over regarding Jaire Alexander that came out from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN. He shared this in an article in the past couple of days saying, the Packers passing on cornerback for the first 6 rounds seems to signify that Jaire Alexander is staying with a team barring a unique trade offer or a contractual stalemate. The Packers and Alexander are working on a resolution that should materialize soon. A revised contract for Alexander, due $17.5 million in cash this year, to balance his injury history with his longtime status as an elite corner, might be the most sensible play. So it has felt like, to me, since the draft, that things have changed a little bit just because the Packers did not draft a corner early in the draft. I think if they drafted one somewhere in rounds 1 through 3, that Jaire would probably be gone. But now the fact that they waited till round 7, I just don't think it makes that much sense to let Jaire go. I think it makes more sense for both sides to come to some kind of agreement. And according to Jeremy Fowler, it sounds like that's what's about to happen. He says a resolution should materialize soon. And so I think just when you look at the Packers going into 2025, the goal is to win a Super Bowl. And I think when you factor in keeping Alexander or letting him go at this point, I just think for the betterment of your team and just your chances of winning a Super Bowl, the better option is to keep Jaire around because, yes, he has not been healthy the past 2 years based off of the past 2 seasons. You know, he may not play a ton of games, but if things were to change and Jaire were to actually stay healthy the entire season, there's no doubt that this team is better heading into the playoffs with Jaire Alexander as one of the corners out there on the field. And so at this point, I just don't know if Brian Gutekunst and the Packers front office would be really willing to let Jaire go for, saving $6 million on this year's cap, more next year if they were to let him go as well. And so my thoughts on the situation have shifted a good amount just because of what has happened during the draft. I really felt like they would take a cornerback somewhat early. I made my prediction that I thought they'd go corner round 1. They did not. They waited until round 7. Because if you draft a corner round 1, then you don't want to keep Jaire around because, I would think it'd be better to not keep him around just because if you have a plan for the future at corner with a first-round guy, you don't want someone else who may not be there for a long time to take up a lot of those snaps. You'd want that first-rounder to get the opportunity to play a lot more snaps and slowly develop into that guy that you think could maybe replace Jaire. So I felt that with Gutekunst publicly saying the Packers are trying to trade him away, I felt that maybe Jaire wouldn't want to return in that situation where the team's actively trying to move on. But I just think because of his injury history, because of the amount of money another team would have to pay to bring him in a trade, I just don't think that trade's going to happen. And it really does feel like at this point it's better for both sides just to come to some kind of agreement to where Jaire takes a small pay cut, but it'll still be enough money where he feels like staying in Green Bay is the best option. So it looks like that's where we're headed right now, unless I guess they can't come to some kind of agreement, but it really feels like things are moving in that direction. And Matt LaFleur in his post-draft press conference even said that with the Jaire situation up in the air, it could be a possibility for them to prioritize corner in the draft, but that's not how it fell. And so I don't think they went into the draft with the plan that, we're not going to focus on corner. I just think that the Packers, they always make it clear that they typically go for best available player. They don't factor need in as one of the highest priorities. I think subconsciously you probably do it to some extent, but they didn't go into this draft, I don't think, planning to not draft a corner. It sounds like LaFleur was open to the possibility of them prioritizing corner because of the uncertainty with Jaire. And so when things change, like what happened in the draft, I think that you should reevaluate things. And it feels like that's what the Packers are doing. So those are my thoughts. If you want more Packers news, feel free to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time.